What is up, everyone? Welcome to the 11th episode of the Scoops podcast. I am joined with two special guests, Payton Key and Malik Wilson. Go ahead and say what's up, guys.
What up? What up?
Everyone doing?
Super excited to have you guys on the podcast because we've been talking back and forth the last couple of weeks about a very specific subject that we will get to. But before we get to any basketball, I want to quickly plug Malik's podcast, the Ball Never Lied podcast. They have episodes every Tuesday, coming out every Tuesday on Spotify and everywhere else where you can find podcasts. Anything you want to say specific about it, Malik?
We just talk hoops, just like you. We focus mainly on the NBA, but we talk college, women, high school, sometimes a little bit of AAU because we're kind of in that circuit, and we just give different opinions. We were tired of Shannon Sharps, Skip Bayless, all those guys with their opinions. They kind of switch narratives, so it was time for us to talk. We always debate on Twitter, so it's like, why not get paid for it and really start a podcast and go forward with it. So that's what we did, man. So Ball Never Lied podcast every Tuesday, like you said.
Awesome. Yeah. I've talked to you many times about basketball, and your opinion is one that I would definitely trust. So,
appreciate that.
Of course. And just a quick little blip in the podcast that this will be the last Scoops and Hoops covered Scoops podcast, because there's something big coming out in the next couple weeks for the page. So just stay tuned for that. I don't want to give away too much without, giving away the actual plot. But with all that out the way, Payton, Malik, if y'all are ready, we'll just get straight into basketball.
Let's get it.
A little while back, I put a question on my story of, I believe the question itself was, it wasn't better player, but bigger impact between Nikola Jokic and Damian Lillard. And I don't remember why exactly it came about, but I remember the outcome. The outcome was the majority went with Jokic, because I remember I sent that to Malik, and Malik was like, dang, everybody's tripping, because Malik is of the opposite mindset of everyone that voted for Jokic. And I'm going to let each of you talk about your champion in this. Malik, you are on the Dame side, and Payton, you are on the Jokic side. And I'll let you guys. First, I want you guys to just start out with the general why Jokic over Dame, or why Dame over Jokic, and then I'll go through a couple points of those specific players. So, whenever you're ready, the floor is either of yours. Whoever wants to start.
All right, I just have a question to start, because arguments can go either way. Are you an analytics guy?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we're gonna get into it. So, the reason I say Dame over Jokic is the simple fact of Dame is way more valuable. And I say that meaning, if you break down the team roster by roster, this guy has popcorn. For the last 2-3 years, Dame has gone through the most adversity, and he's been better than Jokic in every sense of the way, other than the obvious things of rebounding and those type of things, because they're different positions. So it's going to be hard to argue that. But impact, Dame has a bigger impact. Just this year, CJ has missed almost 2 months. He just came back. And they have the same exact record as the Nuggets. The Nuggets have not had a big injury. You can say Paul Millsap has missed a couple games, but Paul Millsap isn't CJ. Let Jokic miss Jamal Murray, and let's see how this team operates. They also have missed Nurkic, who's missed multiple games this year, multiple games last year. Zach Collins, we can keep going. Every year, the Blazers are bearing injuries. They're down and out. People think, okay, this is the year they're going to go into the lottery. And what does Dame do? He brings them back. They're always somehow top 5, top 6, even mid-season when everyone's like, they're done. And everyone can admit to that. Everyone will be like, they're done. All right, there's no way they can come back. They go on a run. There's no way him and CJ can play together. They're only 6'3". They don't play any defense. They go on a run and beat all these teams. Dame is a better scorer. Facilitating-wise, I get it. Jokic is the more flashy one. But at the end of the day, they both get easy assists. I don't think one is better than the other. Obviously, we're going to talk about rebounding. We know who's a better rebounder because he's 7 foot. But who has more heart? Who who do you want really shooting the ball at the end of the game? Who do you want on your team if you're trying to win now? You don't want Jokic. Jokic can't play defense. He is a good scorer, but he needs that 1-2 punch. Dame is going to get you 50 by himself. We've watched him get triple teamed and still get 50. Like, I don't know what else to say. So I want to hear your points so we can really bounce ideas off of each other.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Take your time, buddy. Pull out the stats. I know how the analytics get.
Okay, so one, to answer Daniel's first question, like why is Jokic is unique? There's not another player in the NBA like him. He's the only one who can do those type of things in one body. I don't see it. People don't create like he does at center. Maybe Sabonis to a lesser extent, but it's not like there's levels to this, and Jokic is at the upper echelon. Like, I think he is a top 3 to 4 player in the NBA, and right now, this season, he's number 1.
No, you're not
He's the
serious.
MVP this year.
You're not serious.
I mean, do I think he's the best player? No, but this season, he's the MVP. So Gary Harris, to go back on the injuries,
you're right. Let me stop. I'm sorry.
Gary Harris was injured for like 12 to 15 games, and they've had their guards kind of in and out of the lineup here and there, not missing significant time, but miss a game here, a couple games here. The constant is Jokic. Now, to go back to your point though, Dame carries his team. As far as more important to their team, it's Dame. I'm not gonna argue there. He backpacks them. Like, CJ's gone, Nurkic is gone. It's him. And if he can get Melo to hit some 18-foot contested jumpers and maybe Gary Trent to knock down a few, But yeah, Dame's definitely more important to his team. But as far as better player, facilitating, rebounding, I know it's different, but because a lot of the rebounds in today's NBA are like free rebounds. It's just whoever wants them can get them. Like Luka, like Giannis. There's eight a game that they just everyone run on offense, hits your board. So,
agreed.
But to be able to pull the defense out as a center and run high post and have cutters going backdoor and have shooters around you, I think is so much more valuable than just someone who can light it up scoring. And I think you said, who do you want shooting the ball last? I think that's a big misconception. It's whose hands do you want the ball to be in to make, yes, could they shoot it if they're open? Yeah, but I want someone who's going to make the correct decision, who could also pass the ball to an open shooter and not just have to shoot it himself because, I'm that guy, I'm the best player, I have to shoot it.
Okay.
No, I think it's Jokic, 100%, and I don't think it's close, to be honest with you.
Okay, I want to challenge the unique thing. I get it, and it's hard to say this because people, get sensitive about it, and I know you're not going to, but I think people love Jokic so much because he's a European player that was able to transfer over. Usually, there's a knock against European players, and when they do transfer over, they're overhyped. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not graded on the same scale as a regular player. Now, if Jokic was just some corn-fed, Kentucky boy with the same body, same skill and everything, there wouldn't be as much hype. Same with Luka. Now, granted, Luka is Luka. He's different too. But the hype around them is because they're European players, and European players do not, usually perform. In the last 10 years, we can name at least top 10 players that were from Europe that did not perform. So that's why people go crazy. Same with Giannis. I personally don't think Giannis is a top 5 player, but people think that.
Ooh.
I know.
We'll save that for a different time.
Yeah, we'll save that. So you just say Jokic, like, I've seen it before. I've seen Gasol at the high post because you're talking about high post and being able to facilitate and score. Gasol, that's literally what that's what the triangle was, and Gasol ran that to a T.
No, I'm sorry.
What levels? I get it.
One
Go
sec.
ahead. What
Like
levels?
ahead.
I want to hear this.
Okay. So, as far as effective field goal percentage, right? Jokic is 18th. Damian Lillard, oh, no, I'm sorry, in his percentage, because that matters too, it's not binary, is 60.5% as of today. Damian Lillard is 50th at 56%. And I equate that to us, obviously, Thunder fan, huge Thunder fan. I equate some of what Damian is doing now to what Westbrook did with the Thunder. I think it's almost empty numbers. I mean, yes, he can carry his team and he can will them into the playoffs on his back as an 8 seed to get bounced in the first round every year. Like I've
What does
experienced
Jokic
that.
do?
No,
Jokic
that's
is
what I'm
empty
saying.
numbers. They have the same exact record.
No, right. And in the past, but this year Jokic has taken his game to a different level. That's why I think this year, if you would have asked me this last year, obviously not. Dame's better. But this year, how he's playing, I think a lot of it has to do with the weight loss, honestly. He can play 35, 36 minutes a game now and not be completely gassed.
I can
But
agree with that.
I'm just, what he does, like, I don't think you can point me out a season where Gasol averaged 8 assists a game. Obviously,
No.
it's how their system is run, and with the players that complement them. If you have Bynum and Kobe, obviously you're not going to have the ball in your hands all game like Jokic does. But it's just, I think there's different levels, and like what Dame is doing, I've seen Steph do it, just shoot a whole bunch of threes. But I think obviously Steph different level, but Dame is special, but Jokic is unique. There's
So
just
if
I don't see anyone else doing that.
so if Jokic doesn't make it past the second round, is it empty numbers?
No, it's not empty numbers because this is his first year being the guy in the offense. Like really take, what does he have, like a 35-40% usage? Like it's almost up there with Harden and Luka. Like it's a lot.
Well, that's because
So
they
this is
lost a lot because they gave him the offense. But he's always been, not always, but the last 2-3 years he's been him. Like you said, he lost weight, so he's able to play more. But he's always been him. So at the end of the day, if he's not taking them to the next level, which he isn't, why? What gives him the credit of being unique and being such a great, stat stuffer, and Damian Lillard isn't? They're both empty numbers if they're not winning. Honestly, it's the same thing.
I mean Jokic, but okay, so the step up, like the improvement he's shown from last year, 53% from the field. This year, 56%.
Okay,
Three pointers, 31% last year, 41% this year.
that's a big
And
difference.
it's I mean that's huge. And 87 from 81 to 87% from the free throw line. If you extrapolate that out over a whole season, and the rebounds averaging 11.1 this year, 9.7 last year, assists 8.5 this year, 7 last year, turnovers the exact same. So to have the ball in your hands that much more and put up these numbers and be in control of the offense and keep your turnovers down, I mean, he's averaging 27 points a game this year. And I'm not big on like raw numbers like points, assists, rebounds, but like wins above replacement is a good one. But without getting too analytical and too statistical here, he's just, I think this year they will go farther than the first or maybe second round even.
So
I think they might. And even
hypothetically,
if they don't, it's not like, oh, what you did this year was just complete BS. Because, I mean, he's not just out there jacking threes up all game.
no, it's not BS. Like it goes down in the record books, which everyone's going to be infatuated with. But is it going to win at the end of the day? Analytics is cool. Averages are cool. All of that is cool. But what's the knock on Dame? He doesn't win, against the elite of elite. But neither does Jokic. So I don't. I think honestly, I think because he's a center, everyone's infatuated with him, which I understand and I totally respect because we have to give that credit. Like you said, his turnovers are the same, his assists have went up, 3-point percentage went up. But at the end of the day, if he's the number one guy, which we could both agree he has to win. If you have the same exact record as the Blazers and you're doing the same exact thing, you're getting bounced out just like them, but you're this unique player or generational talent, what makes you different from I just don't see what makes him different. Like why is he graded on a different scale? And that goes back to my theory of him being a European player. But I don't know. We could talk about that.
So you're saying neither of them have won against big teams, so we're all in consensus. They both suck then? They're both terrible
No,
basketball
they don't
players.
both suck. They're not reaching that next level that everyone wants them to reach, or everyone
Together. Like it's not like Jokic is up here and Dame's up here, especially when it comes to wins. Like
exactly
their criticism is of the same thing, winning against those
of the
bigger
same
teams.
thing. So then when we break it down, what is an MVP? Is an MVP literally mean most valuable to you, or does it mean the guy that puts up the best stats? Does it mean the guy that is, top of his team on the top of the conference? Like, what is an MVP? Because if we break down what an MVP is, it's gonna sound crazy, but to me, Jokic is at the bottom of the top 7 list. Like, he's at 6 or 7, and Dame is at 3 or 2 right now. That's just how I see it, and we can break down who's who. But I would have LeBron right now. I would have Dame. Embiid obviously dropped because he's injured, so he's at 3. I have Harden at 4, and then I have Jimmy Butler at 5, and then Jokic at 6. Just because Jokic's team is they were supposed to be a top 2, top 3 team. They're not. They're the same record, 24-16, which I personally don't think is good because they haven't had significant loss. Like the Lakers are 24-13 or 25-13 now, and they've missed AD for almost 4 weeks. And they had, COVID issues with Marc Gasol being out for a week, with Dennis Schroeder being out for a week. Yes, Gary Harris has been out, but they've been trying to trade him since last year. Even when he came back last year, he's not that guy anymore. So Gary Harris being out, I understand it, I respect it, but it just isn't significant to me. Like if Jamal Murray missed time, or I'm trying to think, no, because there's no one else really. But if Jamal Murray missed time, if Jamal Murray missed 3 weeks, and let's say they had 15 games and they go 12-3, I think Jokic is here again, and nobody can debate that. But when it comes to MVP and most valuable, it's debatable because Jokic isn't the most valuable player in this league. He's one of the most unique, but I don't think he's close to most valuable.
I think a lot of it goes back. You were saying, like, well, as we were both saying, with the empty numbers. And I mean, basketball is a team sport. So, like, wins. Like, this is another debate I had with people in football. Like, oh, this QB wins. He's better. It's like, no, it's a team sport. Like, you have to have a cast around you. I don't think Jamal Murray's that great to me. I think he's extremely inconsistent. And, I mean,
I agree totally.
He can score 45 points. But, I mean, give me someone who creates versus just a pure scorer any day of the week. But you have to have that blend of talent on a team. So the wins is definitely, I consider wins a team stat and not a player stat. But like we said, Dame hasn't had much help. So it's hard to know what he's like if he gets someone else around him. I mean, it's just, for me, it's real hard. That's why it's so hard to debate, oh, LeBron versus Jordan. Like, look at the supporting cast.
Yeah.
It's a team sport. I don't think I can stress that enough.
So do you believe the Nuggets have had a better team than the Blazers the last 2-3 years? Not this year, because this year their team is pretty equal based off injuries and stuff. But the last 2 years, could you agree that the Nuggets have had a better roster than the Blazers?
Yeah, maybe a little better. Yeah.
And in those 2-3 years that they've had the better roster, the Blazers have still been the better team. That's what changes it for me, because I'm like, all right, if you switch, I know they're different positions, but if you switch those guys, if you put Dame on the Nuggets and you put Jokic on the Blazers, I think it's a difference. I still think Dame and the Nuggets are here and the Blazers are down here with Jokic, just because, like, going back to Westbrook, which I love, one of my favorite players. I think Jokic kind of puts up Westbrook numbers sometimes when you watch it. Like you said, it's free rebounds, so he's going to get his rebounds regardless. Scoring-wise, I have to give him credit because he's so skilled. Jokic is very skilled scoring-wise, so I never debate that. But even assists, sometimes the assists they're not. And I say this for Dame too, because I had an argument that Dame and Steph Curry are totally different, and Curry's a way better facilitator because they give easy assists. Like I'm not going to give credit to a guy that has a wide open dunk and you just drop it off. Okay, let me get my assist. That's not an assist to me. And every time I watch Jokic and the Nuggets, and they play 40 games, I've watched maybe 28, 29. Every time I watch it, he's forcing assists to me. It's not natural. You get what I'm saying? It's not like who's a big man that does. It's not like Sabonis. Sabonis doesn't force assists. Sabonis goes and gets his, and then if guys are moving around and they're doing their job, he's gonna facilitate. Or Julius Randle. They're not forcing assists. I think Jokic comes out and forces assists to me. Do you see that, or how do you see it with Jokic when it comes to the numbers? Because that's my problem with him. The numbers is really the problem.
I think so. Again, I said I'm not like a huge fan of just like box score watching with points, rebounds, assists, all that sort of stuff. So
okay, we can agree.
Okay, so perfect. So as far as efficiency is concerned, because that's what they're all trying to be anyway, right? Is the most efficient. It's not if you can score 50 points shooting 86 shots, like who cares, right? It doesn't matter. It's who can do it on an adequate number of shots. So for efficiency, Jokic is number 1 in the NBA in efficiency. Number 1. Like it's not close either. He's at 37. And Dame is at 7th at 28. He's behind Bron, Vucevic, who's having an amazing year this year. I love Vucevic. Luka, Harden, and Giannis, of course. Now, Giannis is a little different because you're going to be efficient when 78% of your points comes on dunks. But I think if we switch Dame and Jokic, and I mean, it's hard to just swap them because.
So hold on real quick. Let me jump in there. I was going to give this hypothetical. So let's say, Nurkic was sent to the Blazers from the Nuggets. Let's do that swap. Dame is a Nugget. Jokic is a Blazer. And then let's send Jamal Murray also to the Blazers. And then let's say Nurkic is healthy on the Nuggets with Damian Lillard. Who's a better team?
So 2 and 2, those the big and the point guard. It's easily the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a better team, and the Blazers probably don't make the playoffs.
I think it's the Nuggets in that scenario because no one knew what the Nuggets had in Nurkic at that time. Like Nurkic is pretty damn good, but I think if you were to just swap Dame and Nurkic, but I mean, never healthy, so. But anyway, so he goes.
So let's do Cantor.
Okay, perfect. So if you have Dame, assuming everyone's healthy on all starting fives and the benches are the same, Dame. So it'd be Dame, Gary Harris. I mean, are we including like Michael Porter Jr. even though he's new? Like, are we? Because we were saying the past 2 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years. So I mean, we can go back and put Grant and those guys like.
Okay,
Mason
Jeremy
Plumlee.
Grant or like maybe a Paul Millsap every now and then when he plays, and then Cantor at the 5, and then on the other side you get Jamal, CJ, Gary Trent. Who would be the 4 of? I mean, over the last 3 years, I don't want to say Melo because I hate Melo style of basketball. No, I'm not. Then we're losing. We're losing if we have Melo. That's what's going to
Zach Collins.
But that's my point. But Zach Collins has never been healthy. That's my point.
Right.
The 4th position for the
so
Blazers.
Okay. Give me Covington.
Healthy.
Give me Covington at
that's
the 4.
Just this year, but I'll give it to you.
I mean, yeah, but MPJ is just this year also, so it's kind of tough. That's what I'm saying. It's a team sport, right? Like it's hard, but I think that starting 5, not including anyone on the bench, I think that starting 5 is tough with the Blazers, and I think they win more games with Jokic. But if you add Nurkic over to the Nuggets with Dame and Gary Harris and MPJ in them, and Jeremy Grant even, like that's a really good team.
Yeah, but Jamal Murray's too inconsistent. And
I know he's inconsistent, but we have CJ to get buckets also.
CJ's inconsistent too, in my eyes. I think he's very good, but
one's having an off game, the other one take over. I mean, not take over because Jokic is going to run the high post, but I want some athletes to play with Jokic. Like I want some backdoor cuts and back screens, and I want to throw some lobs. But teams are apparently opposed to that now. They just want to run pick and roll 100% of the time, or ISO. That's all you get. It's pick and roll and ISO.
Speaking of the Blazers, they just beat the Mavericks tonight. We're recording this on Friday night. Beat them 125 to 119. Doncic had 38 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. And Damian Lillard had 31 points on 10 for 19 shooting. CJ McCollum had 32 points. So CJ and Dame combined for 63 points tonight. And Porzingis, 11 points on 11 shots, 3 made.
He's on my fantasy team. I'm tired of him too.
Porzingis ain't it, Chief.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, what gets hard to debate is it's center and point guard at the end of the day. So if a center is a little bit more flashy, they're always going to get the nod. You know what I mean? Like Joel Embiid is a good debate for Jokic. Do you think Jokic is on that level?
Oh yeah, I think he's better than Embiid for sure.
You think he's better?
Yes.
Okay, he's a better passer, but he's not even close to a better defender. So does that equal out to you?
Well, he's a way better scorer also.
Embiid.
You
mean efficiency wise, or like eye test, like watching a game, he's a better
Embiid shoots what 15 free throws a game? Is that a skill to you, being able to get to the free throw line a little bit? Yeah.
No, I will agree. I mean, I will admit that Embiid does flop a little, but the reason Embiid is over Jokic is because Jokic is the softest guy in the paint. Like you can't expect he's taller than most, so he's gonna score. But if I'm on the block, like I want Embiid on the block and Jokic on the block, and we give them 10 shots each, Jokic is probably making 5 or 6, and Joel Embiid is making 8 to 9 of them. Like Embiid is so different on the low post. He's not as good as a shooter, but he still can shoot. But he's way better on the low post. And at the end of the day, they're big men, so we have to talk about, their position. Jokic is a better shooter, but 9 times out of 10, he's not going to just chuck up a whole bunch of threes. So it's like there's no way Embiid is not a better scorer than Jokic because he scores all over the floor. No, I can't.
And not just that. I mean, just in general, isn't it just like a norm to, especially with your big man, take the two-way player because of how important it is for your big man to be able to defend?
And that's the crazy part, because like Jokic, and that's why I can't wait for the playoffs, because he had Grant to kind of help him. Jokic's gonna have to guard these ADs and the rest of these guys in the West that can kind of put up a bucket, and he's gonna get killed in pick and roll. He's gonna get killed in transition, and I don't think the Nuggets are gonna be close to what they did last year. I think it was a Cinderella thing, and I think people were kind of sleeping on Jeremy Grant and Mason Plumlee's defense, and they were significantly better with them, and you can tell by the numbers, by just the eye test, just watching their games. Defensively, the Nuggets sucked this year, and they were way better last year. So I can't wait for the playoffs to see, Jamal Murray and Jokic have to kind of take on those roles now and not just be able to be the facilitating scorers, because they didn't have to play defense at all last year.
Again, like you're saying, you think Embiid is going to bully him on the low block, but that's just a one-on-one game, right? Like we're not playing one-on-one, we're playing 5-on-5, and playmaking is the number one thing you can have in the NBA. Like I think that's
but when the game slows down,
over shooting, over anything. When the game slows down, he draws double teams a lot now too. And being such a good passer, teams are almost hesitant to double because they know he's going to hit the correct man. Now, if teams rotate fast enough, then it becomes a team game again. Like it's, I don't really like arguing one-on-one aspects too much, but I think Jokic is just on a different level. Like I get, like you said, we'll see in the playoffs this year, and I think Jeremy Grant is a good player. Like he was good defensively, he could knockdown shooter, very underrated. I hate Mason Plumlee. Like I think the man loves to get 6 fouls in 22 minutes every time I've seen them play. Like I don't
Yeah,
think he's
no,
that
that's a
great
fact.
defensively. He's a decent facilitator also. Plumlee is, especially off the bench.
Mhm.
That's a different story for a different time. But I can't let anyone talk me off Jokic right now. I haven't heard anything good enough like to knock me off of he's the MVP and he's also the best center in the NBA.
Okay, but
I just haven't heard it
you
yet.
haven't answered that question. What is an MVP to you? So we can get to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
What is
I
an
mean,
MVP?
everyone has their different opinion on it.
Yeah, that's what I said to
Is
you. What is an
is
MVP?
too subjective. Me is number one, being able to get your teammates involved. I'll always take that over someone who's a shooter or someone who's got. I hate to say this because y'all are both LA guys, but the Mamba mentality shit to me, I don't see it. Like it's
So you think Steve Nash deserved those MVPs, huh? You're one of those guys.
yeah.
Oh,
Again, the LA versus everyone else bias is creeping in, but I don't see how someone like Dame creates for his guys because you have on when they set a screen up
double
high,
team.
they have to trap him off the pick and roll or he is letting it fly. Like you have to. So he creates in that sense, but as far as passing the ball and just knowing like the IQ, Jokic is heads and shoulders literally above everyone else
Well, I
and
think LeBron
figuratively.
is MVP.
Do what?
LeBron is MVP.
I wouldn't argue against LeBron. I think LeBron's the GOAT. So, and especially this year with AD being out, yeah, he's amazing. But I think
So
just
it's getting
as
your
of
team
now,
involved.
oh yeah,
What else do you have? Getting your team
okay.
involved.
So
What
getting
else?
your team involved, uh, being the guy, you have to be the guy. But
Mm-hmm.
like as far as the number one option on the team, uh, and just being efficient. Like that's my main thing in not just basketball, but everything is just being efficient. Who cares if you can write Mamba mentality on a board if you use up half the ink in your marker, right? Like who cares? I want you to do it in small letters and save that ink in your marker, Daniel.
Right.
No,
So
Wow.
efficiency, playmaking, facilitating. Defense is on there, and obviously Embiid, way better defender than Jokic. You're not going to hear any arguments here from that, as are a
mhm.
lot of other players in the NBA. But Dame specifically, I think he's bad at defense also. I don't
No,
know
he
the
is.
metrics
He is.
off top, but from watching him play, he takes a lot of possessions off on defense. Now it's probably because he is so heavily involved in the offense. They're like, whatever, we don't care. We need you on offense. But I don't know. But as far as MVP, playmaking, facilitating, efficiency, and being the number one guy. Other than that, I mean, I guess the
So
team
LeBron,
aspects matters some,
you
but
just
to
described
me,
LeBron.
That's
oh
what I
yeah,
was about to say. You're
that's what
describing.
that's what
So
I was
what
gonna say.
puts?
Like you wouldn't hear any arguments against LeBron from me, but
So you just choose Jokic because he's having his best season to date?
yes, because
Okay.
it's it's almost, and this is why this is what's happening. Like it's boring. If you wanted to give the MVP to LeBron every year, you could. Like you could do it every single year. It's just
Mm-hmm.
people don't want to see that over and over and over. And you could give, well, I guess not anymore, but you could give like the MVP to Tom Brady. You could have given him that 15 years in a row, but they're not going to. It's just the improvement that he's shown Jokic from last year to this year is amazing for someone between their like fourth and fifth year or fifth and sixth year in the league, something like that.
Okay.
So I think he still has room to grow. Also, that
So
3-point percentage is not dropping anytime soon. I don't think. I don't think he's going to go up, but I see him being right around a 40% shooter. And when you need a 15-foot fadeaway from 1 foot to win the game, you know where to go.
All right.
I
So
want to play devil's advocate. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
if you want to, go ahead.
All right. I want to play devil's advocate because if we're not going to talk about LeBron, and even though you described him, what about James Harden? I know what one knock is going to be. He did take the first like week and a half, 2 weeks off of basketball, you could say, in the MVP debate, but he's taken his game to a new level. He's literally become the point guard And this has been his best facilitating years, like to date to me. Not numbers wise. It's like what he's actually doing. He's not forcing assists. He's actually getting his teammates involved. He's picking his spots. He's not flopping and shooting 30 free throws like he usually does. So it's a little bit easier to watch him. But if you're watching Harden, and I get it, he does have Kyrie as a sidekick, and KD has been out. But if you're watching Harden specifically, this is one of his best seasons to me. And this is a heavy debate for MVP. And the only thing that knocks him is he kind of, if you want to say he was the late bloomer, he started 2 weeks later than everyone else. But he's just up there with everything you just described. So how do you feel about Harden maybe being an MVP this year?
He's in the conversation for sure, but the efficiency between him and Jokic,
okay,
there's a gap. Like he turns the ball over a lot, and he has the ball in his hands a lot. Probably a little bit more than Jokic, but he does have a lot of turnovers, and I hate the step back threes are great and everything, but when you're shooting 9 of them a game and only making 3, like I don't like it. Again, it goes back to efficiency. Like if you're not gonna hit 35+% on those shots, don't take them. Oh yeah, you stretch the defense out, they have to defend it. Now you have more space to work with. Yeah, I get it. I'm letting him shoot those a lot, and because where he's most dangerous to me, and this goes the exact same for Luka. Stop shooting 12 threes a game and drive more and get more easy free throw points. That's where you win the game. And you shoot 85, 90% on those. Like if you get to the line, you can win games. I don't want that to be his only or like his main source of scoring. Just like with the Embiid, like I swear this man shoots 16 free throws a game. I don't know what it actually is, but I think I've seen about 10 Sixers games this year. A couple of them, one was without Ben Simmons, but anyway, he just shoots so many free throws down there, and it's because he is so dominant, and teams are just fouling him like crazy because they don't want to get dunked on. But I just the threes, step back threes at a low percentage, got to go away for Harden for me to be the MVP. He definitely could do it. Now with, like you said, like Kyrie at point guard also, he's doing he's doing a lot less than he was in Houston. But tonight, I think Kyrie had 40 and James didn't need to do very much. Like, I think he shot the ball maybe 11, 12 times. What does that go back to? The team. I think it's just so hard to debate like individuals without considering the organization they're in and like the context of their team around them. Context is everything for me. Daniel, you look like you want to say something over there.
No, I'm just for just going back to the Jokic and Lillard debate. There are 4 points that I just want you guys to give me the name Jokic or Lillard. So the first point is just their game, like their game, what they do, overall impact is which one is better, Jokic or Lillard?
Impact for what?
For wins.
Jokic.
Lillard.
Okay. Better overall player.
Lillard.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna stay with the same ones there. Jokic.
Okay. So that means that person that you're choosing for a better overall player, that's who you want on your team. Like you're choosing a team, first player, you have the choice between Jokic and Lillard. Malik, you're going Lillard, and Payton, you're going Jokic?
Yes.
We're talking about from scratch, like no players on the team yet.
Scratch.
Yeah, Lillard.
Who do you think at the end of their careers will have the better career?
What are you defining better career as?
Meaning what?
Context. Give me context.
However you wanted to, rings, individual stats, throw it all there together. Career.
I think they both don't win a ring. They both don't win a ring. No, neither of them, unless Lillard leaves. I see Lillard leaving way before Jokic does, and I don't even see Lillard leaving. So they both don't win a ring.
When's Bron
Points.
gonna retire?
Never at the age of
Okay,
50.
then I might agree with that they both don't win a ring. No,
Even
I
when
think
Bron retires, I can't see it. Like, I mean, it'd have to be Kawhi Leonard on the Raptors for them to win, like some spontaneous year, but they're not going to win rings. So points wise, we know Lillard's going to have way more points. Assist wise, they might be pretty close, but overall awards, I personally think Damian Lillard is the most underappreciated superstar that we have in this league. So I don't see him winning an MVP. I think we'll somewhere down the line debate all NBA teams for these two guys. But MVP wise, I don't think either of them will win it. But if one of them were to win it, I think they'd give it to Jokic first, just because of the nostalgia to me. But career wise, if we're going strictly off awards and points, it's going to be Lillard.
Payton.
I mean Jokic. I think we're pretty set in our ways here, and no one's going to tell us any different.
So no one's switching. It's Jokic.
Out of
Even
those
after the
three
debate, it's still
categories?
Jokic, still Lillard.
Yeah.
I mean, what categories do you want? Who's the better 7-foot white guy? It's probably going to be Jokic.
That's what I'm saying. It almost be like a pointless debate because we were both think so highly of those players. And don't get me wrong, I love Dame. Like, I've got his shoes sitting right here in my closet. I love Dame, but he's, like I said, there's levels to this. Like, it's not binary. It's not just ones and zeros. Like, there's different skills players have, and then there's special, and then there's unique. And I want the guy who's like no one else in the NBA on my team. If we're picking first, or even we say better careers, or what was the first category you said, Dale?
Impact.
Oh, especially impact. Especially on how the game is played as a whole. Like, you're gonna see teams try to develop players like Jokic. That's gonna be the next evolution, I think, is big point centers, if you will, but obviously not ball handling wise, but with the ball in their hands in the high post, top of the key, players who are good shooters at the top, try to get developed to be the main source of the offense. That's what I think.
So would you say the same thing for like a Damian Lillard? He's kind of like that Steph Curry type of player. You get what I'm saying? Like, they develop those just as well. If you know, I'm not saying you don't, but if you know anything about the youth, everyone wants to be the next Steph Curry. All these kids are shooting threes and trying to shoot from half court. And Lillard is right there. Like, obviously Curry's here, Lillard's probably here, but Lillard is right there in, being a revolutionary for that type of style of game. And I don't know if you're saying it like that, but it seems as if you're saying like Jokic is the first to do this. Like, we've seen guys like this, just maybe not as efficient, you would say, but they also haven't had the same minutes and haven't had the same free will as Jokic. You get what I'm saying? And everyone says this, every legend, I haven't seen this guy play as much, so I'm not going to go crazy about it. But Sabonis' father was kind of the same.
Don't get Daniel started.
Arvidas.
Don't get him started on Arvidas, please.
Arvidas.
He was around the same player, and he came at a later age. So imagine if he came 10 years before, which he was supposed to do. It's like we've seen Jokic before, we've seen Lillard before. I don't think, and I was going to ask you, like, what's unique? Like, who's unique in the NBA? Who would you label unique? Because I feel like that word is kind of like confusing because it makes it seem like it's only one guy that could do it.
I could say right now in the NBA, probably 4 guys.
Is LeBron and Curry in there?
Yes.
And then Jokic. So who's the 4th?
Giannis.
What's unique about him?
I've seen one person stop him from getting to the rim when he wants. And it's not just the one person, it's a team effort. Like, the way he can slow down his pace or speed up his pace and take 2 steps from half court and euro around someone or get an easy ass layup is just crazy to me.
And his
Like
length and
I've
speed.
never seen anyone play like that. Have y'all
KD
ever
can't do
seen
that.
who?
KD
No,
Not at that strength.
no.
strength.
KD's a
Wait,
better
Giannis has
scorer.
strength.
KD's a better scorer, but I'm just saying unique as in like one aspect, not like this player's the second coming of Jesus. Like it's
No, I know what you
different.
mean. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
but Giannis, Jokic, Steph, and Bron, what I would say is for unique.
And KD to round out that 5, because KD is pretty damn unique at
Mm,
7 feet tall. His handles,
mean,
the way he can score, the way he can shoot.
I guess I'm just not thinking as much about him now because I haven't seen him play. He's not fresh in my memory.
Last 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's fair. I don't know. It's like those players have guys that are kind of like them. You get what I'm saying? Like LeBron has nobody like him, so I would consider him unique. Curry kind of doesn't have anyone like him, other than if you want to put Lillard.
revolutionary is a better word I think for Curry.
Yes, and same with LeBron. But the rest, I don't like Kevin Durant too. I think it's just those 3. The rest aren't unique to me. Like Giannis is Giannis, but at the end of the day, he can be stopped. Like I don't know.
But
The
being
word
stopped
unique-
isn't unique. I mean, those aren't the same. Like that's not the same category. Like someone being stoppable
but
is a category, and
he's
then unique is another.
no, yeah, but he was saying that he could take 2 steps, slow down his pace, and nobody can stop him going to the rim. But we've seen him be stopped, so I can't say nobody can stop him. I could say nobody can stop LeBron going to the rim when he wants to. LeBron stops himself. Giannis doesn't stop himself. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Is it unique that Giannis can take 2 steps from the half court line and lay the ball up? That's pretty
no,
unique.
because Kevin Durant can do it too.
Mm-mm.
That's the way I see it.
No, he can't.
They're the same exact.
No, obviously, I'm obvious. No, Kevin Durant cannot do that. But that as a skill is not like that desirable to me. That's just
I mean,
something
not
added.
as a skill,
That's
but
what I'm getting at
I'm
too. It's
looking.
not desirable.
Yeah,
If we want to
it's
talk
not
about
desirable.
unique skill set, that I think that's a separate, more defined conversation. But I'm talking about uniqueness as a player. Watching that dude, watching Giannis catch the ball at the like deep wing, take 2 steps and be able to dunk it. Like uniqueness. I've never seen something like that before.
But KD was doing that. Maybe we haven't watched KD in a while, but KD does that. That's what I'm saying. The word unique means nobody is like that. You get what I'm saying? I think LeBron and KD are the unique players of this league. LeBron, nobody is like him, strength wise, speed wise, size, all of that. Nobody's like LeBron. KD, at his height, nobody is shooting as great as him, and nobody is as good as a scorer at his height. So that's unique. Giannis is just like, to me, like, okay, you're a football guy. Giannis to me is like an HB dodge. Like that's his play, HB dodge, just go straight to the rim. And it's so stoppable.
Is it though?
Yes. Why do they lose? They don't lose because of the team. They lose usually because of him. If we're being completely honest.
Like as you were saying, I think that's a false equivalency with like the HB dive. It's HB dive if you have the best interior offensive line ever, the best fullback ever, and then I don't know, Earl Campbell back there running it. Then yeah, you could probably say it's HB dive. But Giannis, like what is it, 75% of his points or something like that come from either dunks or layups. It's extremely hard to stop. That's why he averages 30 points a game. Like it's not like people stop this routinely. Can it be stopped? Yeah, anything can be stopped, right? Nothing's completely just invincible.
No, yeah.
But I don't know.
So
I think Giannis is different.
If it's that hard to stop, why do they lose when it matters?
Oh, last year the Heat had a great game plan. That's why, again, team sport, right? Like the context around them is huge. Chris Middleton was asked to step up, couldn't do it. That's why how many 3 for 17s did he put up in the playoffs? Like,
no, that's a fair debate. but they also has had one of the deepest teams in the NBA for the last 4 years. So
I
again,
think their GM completely screwed up by not keeping Malcolm Brogdon. That was my first issue. That was
you're a
huge.
smart guy. You're a very smart guy. I totally agree.
I've loved Malcolm Brogdon since like his first season with the Bucks. I was like, this guy's got something.
Daniel, can I one up you there? I loved him since he was at Virginia. The man was a lockdown defender.
With my guy
I've loved
London.
him since he was born. So you can't
shout out
you
to
can't
Tony
beat
Bennett
me. I win.
at Virginia.
Shout out to Malcolm Brogdon's parents for birthing him. I win.
Jerry and Kevin.
Win.
I think the
No,
Pacers beat the Bucks.
Making up his parents' names. That's terrible.
You have me so confused, man. I want you to come to the Lillard side, man. I get the efficiency thing. If you're an analytics guy, it's going to be so hard to debate, ever changing your opinion on Jokic because he is he is the most efficient player in the NBA. But it's just like when you watch the game, I can't see anyone telling me Jokic is better than Lillard. Like, that is crazy, man. I don't know. I just can't see it, man. I guess because he's unique being a 7-footer and being a facilitator, but like you said, carrying your team, man. Like, how could you go against Lillard?
Majority of my followers, they said Jokic.
Yeah, no, I can't debate it. If that's the majority, that's the norm right now. But the norm is going to be wrong come, what is it, April? No, May.
Malik is a fortune teller. He's saying, wait for it. Wait on it the next couple months.
Hey, man.
I'm hitting you up. If you're right, I'm going to be like, I mean, I'm giving you a crystal ball for your birthday.
Well, let's quickly think about it, right? The Nuggets are in the 6th seed.
I was just about to say this. Can we get them as a 5-4 matchup, please? I would love to see that.
That'd be dope. Will that end the debate, or no? It's a team game still.
No, I don't think it ends the debate.
But it definitely helps one side or the other.
Oh yeah, it would help for sure. Definitely wouldn't hurt.
Okay, but if they're a 6th seed, right? Do the Nuggets even make it out the first round?
Who are they playing? Who's 3 seed right now? Isn't it like the Suns? Right, the Suns have been balling lately.
Oh shit! I thought it was. You're right. I thought it was the Clippers.
I think it's this. Is it the Clippers?
No. It's. I think it is the Suns.
Okay, because I know they went on like a crazy win streak. So I don't know. That team with Chris Paul has been nice. Devin Booker, who doesn't have to do everything on offense and is free to roam around and use his ability to catch and shoot more. Mm-hmm. That's dangerous.
Okay, so yeah, the Clippers and Nuggets are actually the 4 or 5 seed. So do they upset the Clippers again in the first round if everything ended today?
I could see it. I mean, I think it'd be close, so I wouldn't have a huge lean one way or the other. But I could definitely see it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Do what?
I said without the debt? I don't know.
I could see it. I could see either team winning. You tell me, hey, Clippers swept them 4-0 or Nuggets swept Clippers 4-0, and either way, I wouldn't really be surprised. I think they're very close.
Pick.
I mean, you want me to pick?
Yeah.
Pick.
Bucks. That's who I picked.
Wrong conference.
Wait. In your eyes, the Bucks are going to the championship? Is that why you said it?
Yes.
Yes? They finally get over the hump.
This season of all seasons?
I was about to say, why this season? Why this season out of all season? Drew Holiday's.
No, it's not PJ Tucker. I can tell you that right now. It's Drew.
No. PJ Tucker's trade just happened, so we're not going to say PJ. But for Drew, another guy I love, why don't you think they sacrifice a lot of depth?
Some, but realistically, how many minutes were they going to play in the playoffs? The bench guys, 8, 10 to 12, maybe tops. Like, starters are now playing 38 to 40 minutes routinely in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, depth is great for the regular season to keep your guys fresh and to make sure if you want to get the seed you want or home court advantage. But in the playoffs, it's really about the closing lineup.
So why do you see them over the Nets? I don't see the Nets going to the championship, but why over the Nets before I get to the Sixers? Like, what puts them over the hump?
The Nets can't stop someone from scoring 150. on him. That's oversimplification, but you
No,
seem
I
to be
get
a
what you're
big fan of
saying.
defense. I don't see how they stop the size accompanied with the shooting ability of the Bucks. I just don't see it.
So before you say you haven't seen KD play in a while, do you think KD, while playing, is a good defender?
He's adequate.
So can he? You don't think he can guard Giannis?
No.
No.
It'll take not a chance. It's a team game. He has to get help. Everyone has to get help on Giannis.
Okay.
All right. When you see 5 guys doing this, when Giannis is at the top of the key with the ball, I mean, that's what's going to happen. Like, it's going to take damn near a 3-2 zone to stop him from getting in the paint, or 2-3 even. But they're going to have someone show from whoever's on the wing, like if Middleton's on the wing or DiVincenzo, whoever it may be, their defenders are going to be like this, turned facing Giannis the whole time. You have to build a wall.
But like you said,
Trump?
you can't trust Middleton. So
to be the number 1 guy, just to be a catch and shoot guy, oh yeah, I'm trusting him for sure.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, so
but
is Drew the closer?
Is who?
Is Drew the closer?
No, the ball's in Giannis's hands. It's like a final possession type thing.
Like the final 30 seconds, back and forth game, the ball is in Giannis's hands?
Yeah.
And they're winning that way.
Yeah. I think so.
What puts them over the hump of the Lakers if you think they're going to win a championship?
That would be a great series. I want to see that because that's someone with the strength and size down low. I just think
that's why I said that. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it's a team, right? Like the Lakers as a team are matched up very well with the Bucks. Same way I think the Heat were last year. Like that was a little different, I guess. But yeah, Bam is I mean, if you ask me, he's the best defensive player in the NBA. Like he can literally guard 1 through 5. But Bam matched up with him, or even Jimmy with help down low, just waiting. Like other guys have to step up and hit shots, and they didn't do it last year. I think you give them enough attempts doing that. Like if they keep making the Eastern Conference Finals over and over and over, guys are going to hit shots. Like it's going to happen. The percentages will work themselves out. And I think they've got the shooters right now to go along with Drew, a great defender on the perimeter and also a good facilitator. I think they've got enough as a team to do it this year. I really do.
Okay, that was going to be my last question. So you don't think they should be active in the buyout market?
Not really. I mean,
so they don't need to add a piece.
I mean, anytime you can get someone who's like a Kyle Korver or JJ Redick type, those are always good guys to have on your team. But these Iguodalas and Trevor Ariza's, I think that's so overrated. I don't see them helping that much, especially on a team who's already as solidified as the Bucks are. It's just going to be another Pat Connaughton type guy who plays 12 minutes. Like, yeah, it'll help, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, they could go small ball, or they could play Brook at the 5 in their closing lineup and just be massive. And I mean, really, honestly, from me watching him this year, Bobby Portis should be the closing 5. Like Bobby Portis is a good player.
He is. He's
as long as Nikola Jokic isn't on his team and he's not beating them up every post game. Yeah, there you go. Tell him fight James Johnson. Then I like Bobby Portis.
So if the Brooklyn Nets or the Lakers add Drummond, that doesn't put them over the hump?
I don't think Drummond, amazing rebounder, a lot of free rebounds like I was talking about earlier, right? Like he gets a ton of them. What does he average? Probably just defensive rebounds a game, like 10 or 11.
Enough.
And some of them are contested, and he is a good shot blocker, but we're putting Drummond in a pick and roll every time.
But you know what's crazy? What people aren't noticing is before they made him sit out, he was top 5 in defense, like rating wise. And I think that's a sleeper.
He's a good defender, especially in the paint. But I think if you get a team like the Bucks, who like you have to be able to guard 5 out against the Bucks, unless you just want to have someone completely sag off Giannis. But if you're not gonna
Wait, who's the 5 out for the Bucks? I'm sorry. Who's the 5
so
out?
we'll have Drew, Middleton, DiVincenzo, and I guess Brook Lopez would be the 4, and then Giannis with the ball at the top of the key. So if you want to completely sag off Giannis, that's a smart idea, right? Let him shoot threes. You want to shoot it? Go ahead. But
Okay.
but when you start driving and people have to help, which they have to against Giannis, KD cannot stop Giannis one-on-one. There's a lot of guys in the NBA who can't stop one-on-one though, right? Because it's a team game.
Yeah.
So you have to help and rotate, and it's oversimplified, I think, a little bit. But those 5 outside, like, are you gonna have Drummond on Giannis in this situation? Is that
No, I don't think Drummond would play. I think Markieff would be in at that moment, and you'd have Markieff guard Brook and AD on Giannis and LeBron helping out. And I think they'd probably leave
so
Dante
this is
open.
Drummond on the Lakers scenario. I thought you were saying Drummond on the Clippers or on the Nets scenario.
No, I said Lakers or Nets. So
Okay.
I mean, on the
No, I
Nets,
think he would help out on the Nets way more than he'd help out on the Lakers.
oh, defensive wise, yeah, you're right. I'm
Right,
sorry, I
yeah.
didn't think
Like
about that.
that's a
You're
huge.
right.
Yeah, because I mean that's obviously their missing component. But
And
on the
that's what
Lakers, I don't think he'd be a great fit.
like overall or just against the Bucks.
Just overall, I mean, what does he bring really that they don't have right now? Are you playing AD and Drummond at the same time? See, I don't know. Not against the Bucks.
But
I would.
see, they
I don't
didn't.
think it's a good idea.
They didn't like. I mean, it's not even debatable. But they didn't like JaVale and AD starting, and that was the thing
I
that
liked
put
it.
them over the top.
I liked it
But
against the Heat, right? Like obviously, yeah,
right.
not a whole bunch. Like I'm all for it, but when you have a 5 out offense that like they can go, unless you just want to play the Ben Simmons defense on Giannis, which is fine, and let him drive and let him slither around people. Once you let him get ahead of steam, he's incredibly tough to stop. Like you have to stay up on him, and when you do that, I think he's blowing by Drummond, and that's when you see this again. Everyone turn face
But
towards
then you
Giannis,
have
build a wall.
LeBron. But you have LeBron. LeBron is flash on defense. Like he's definitely
LeBron's guarding
gonna.
Giannis one-on-one.
No. I'm saying LeBron as the help because you said
Oh, right.
We take
Great
Drummond
help
out.
defense.
I don't
Team.
know how you feel about it. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about it, but Kuz has played way better defense. So even if Kuz is in there, let's say you have Dennis guarding Drew, Kuz or LeBron guarding Chris Middleton, and then vice versa for Dante. You have Markieff Morris, or oh no, maybe even KCP's in there. He's guarding Middleton actually. You have Kuz on Dante. You have LeBron on Brook Lopez. I'm pretty sure because they're gonna want him to play help. And then you have AD guarding him. You don't think that stop? Like you don't think the Lakers can stop that?
Can they stop it? Yeah. Well, I think their probability of stopping it, not great.
Slow. It's not great. Well,
Not
I got high hopes for the Bucks. I like this. I like this.
Oh, I do. I've always been high on the Bucks. You can ask Daniel this.
So what you're telling me is that practices leading up to the Bucks playoffs, whoever their opponent is just the coach and telling everyone to practice doing this and turning to the right a little and
Hey,
turning to the
check
left
this
a little,
out.
and then
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Daniel. Keep going. What else for you?
no, they're just doing the
All right. So the Bucks
arms up.
tomorrow play the Spurs, right? And it's kind of weak competition, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not fair, but I get you.
Yeah. I mean, we want Indiana with Sabonis and Miles Turner. That might be all right. Or against Boston with Tatum and like Tice as the help defense, maybe. Watch this now. Next time you see the Bucks play. That's the defense. Everyone turn and face Giannis. Build a wall. It's crazy how much they sag off. You just got to have guys to hit shots around them. That's it. Like it's a make or miss league. I'm sure we've all heard that before.
Definitely.
That's very agreeable. Good debates. I agree with it. It's just I don't know. I feel like Giannis he's done enough, but at the end he still hasn't. You get what I'm saying? Like he needs that one glory moment for me to be like to be scared of the Bucks. Like I'm not scared of the Bucks, man. I'm hurt that you said that about Drummond. I actually want him to go to LA now, just so he can be super dominant, and you'll be like, all right, yeah.
I think
that's crazy.
that's a good rotation and good lineup to put on the floor against some teams.
Everyone but the Bucks.
Not everyone but the Bucks. Like against the Nets, that lineup would get smoked on defense.
So Drummond guards Blake.
Come on.
Right?
Drummond
guards Blake, and Blake's a shell of himself.
Blake's a non-factor. Blake shouldn't be on the floor.
Okay, so how does that lineup get smoked?
Jeff Green
LeBron and AD. I mean, that's okay, but LeBron and AD, and then you put in Dennis, who I think Dennis is all first team this year. No debating to me. He's all first team defense. So those three guys, defensive wise, how does that lineup get smoked? Who's the deciding factor? Harden?
Who's guarding any of them? If we're being honest,
the ball doesn't go around enough. They're gonna have to play defense as well.
Right. I get that, and I think the Lakers would.
And that's where they get smoked.
The Nets on defense, right? But I'm saying, as far as just on the Lakers' defensive end of the floor, with Drummond and AD, and LeBron's still a good defender, but obviously he's lost his step speed-wise and quickness.
No, this is LeBron's best. I knew you were gonna go there. This is LeBron's best year defending, man. I think, other than that first year with the Heat, this is his best year defensive-wise. First of all, the Lakers are number 2 on defense. They were number 1 with Marc Gasol in the lineup. They're number 2 in defense. You add in a Drummond with LeBron having his best on-ball defensive year ever. It's hard for me to say.
They stop most teams, right? Like they will stop a lot of teams.
Difference. I agree.
Yeah, but against
I agree, but
Bucks or
the Nets beat themselves. The Nets have beat themselves. It's not enough basketball to go
they
around.
Might, right? There's only one ball to go around. Not everyone can shoot it every possession. There's 2 sides of the floor. I'm just talking about strictly on the defensive side. I think the Lakers beat the Nets in a 7-game series. I do. Like, you're not going to hear an argument from me there. I'm just trying to see what you think about Drummond being on the floor against a smaller, faster lineup who can shoot.
I don't think he will. I'm sorry. That's probably where we're confused. No, he's not. He's not going to be – I think he'll be there the start of the first quarter. Okay, let's break it down. I think he plays 27 to 28 minutes. I don't think he plays 30-plus. And he's not going to – of course, he's not going to play with the small ball lineup, but that's my thing. The Lakers have so much depth. You can go Markieff at small ball. You can go Kuz with small ball and put AD at 5. So it's like they have counterparts to that, just like last year. If they add Drummond. If they don't add Drummond, they need to add another big. I don't know who would it be. I've always wanted Dwayne Dedmon, but he hasn't played all season, so now that's kind of like nah. But
get Marvin back.
The buyout market, I wouldn't trade for him though.
Daniel, you don't want
that's
to trade
another
for
thing.
you.
Trade for me? You don't want to trade? That's okay.
I don't think the Lakers make I don't think they make a trade. I think they play the buyout market. I don't think any of the big teams make a trade because everyone thinks they're at that moment. So I think the buyout market is going to be way more interesting than the trade deadline.
All right, so I want to thank Malik and Payton for joining me for another great podcast. A lot of great basketball debate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys
for you having me, man.
Yep. I mean,
good debate too. Like we were saying earlier, constructive.
Yeah. You're welcome back anytime, Malik, to come and talk basketball. And I mean, one more plug for the Ball Never Lied podcast out on Tuesdays for you guys to check out.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
it. All right. So, customary sign-off question for the both of you. Would you're in a field one more time, just like our last question. You have another baseball bat in your possession. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have to fight a dozen duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? And do you win that fight?
One horse-sized duck.
So a duck the size of a horse or a dozen horses, but they're the size of ducks. And both scenarios, they're trying to kill you. And you have a baseball bat and you got to come out alive.
Can I go first?
I'm sorry, one question. Are you saying height-wise, like the duck is
The duck is as
okay.
big as a horse.
Okay. Go ahead,
Yes,
Peyton.
Can I go first? I'm wiping out 12 duck-sized horses in about 15 seconds. Maybe not even that long. Like that's not even. You gotta give me a better one than that. That's too easy, Dan. Tiger Woods, those ducks into the
horses can be
pond.
aggressive. Horses can be aggressive.
Daniel, they're this big. Ducks are this big.
Okay, do you come out of? So you're both choosing the horse-sized ducks, then?
No, I'm
Yeah.
choosing the
No, the
duck-sized horses.
duck-sized horse. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's the one.
There's
Okay,
12
but
of them.
okay,
They're
let's throw
gone.
you in the scenario that you wouldn't choose. Then you got a duck the size of a horse, and ducks are another animal that can be aggressive at times. Let's say this one is aggressive and it's the size of a horse, and you got a bat. Are you killing it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be a little
think.
different.
Yeah, it's
They don't really
different.
have teeth like that, right?
That's what I was about to say. Are they?
I'm trying to
How are
think,
they
what are
gonna
their
kill me?
weapons they can use?
They're
They're gonna
pecking you,
peck
bro.
me? No, I'm smacking the shit out
Oh
of their
no, I'm
beak.
winning.
with my
Yeah, I'm
bat.
winning. I'm winning. I'm
Okay,
taking
but
the pecs. I thought you
guys,
meant like eating
think
me alive.
about the beak. It is a huge beak now. Like sure, when it's a duck and it's small, it's not gonna. It's
Yeah,
just gonna
it's
sting.
different.
We're talking about a big beak. He's jabbing you. It's gonna feel like a tackle.
And they still have those weak little legs, right?
Oh no!
Yes, sir.
No!
Take that
Don't
leg
do
out.
it.
Taking out
They
those
can't
that
walk.
horse-sized
Don't
duck
do it,
leg.
Peyton. So are you gonna get to the leg? You're gonna get to the leg, and you're gonna take. Oh man, Pete, hold on,
Yo.
PETA, don't cancel the podcast, okay? These are hypotheticals, and these are mythical creatures because there's no horse-sized duck, so don't cancel us. But you're going for the duck's leg?
Yeah, you
Hey,
gotta
what
take
were
out
we
the
saying
weakest spot.
earlier? Hey, what were we saying earlier? You do what you can to win the game, right?
Oh,
That's what I'm
man.
doing.
Going for the wow.
I didn't even think about the weak legs. Yeah,
I'm creative
definitely
with
taking
it.
Me
the legs
neither.
out.
Me neither.
Their legs are gone. Their legs.
We
My
attacked
first
So
them
if they
thing
already.
is
have
the
no legs, it's
head.
over.
My first thing I was thinking was the head.
Okay, one caveat. Can the duck still fly and he's horse-sized?
Sure, let's just give him more
Okay,
advantage.
okay, then I don't know,
We
because
might
then he
lose,
can hit
yeah.
me where I can't hit him. Like I'm on his terms. When he's flying around me, I can't take
Yeah, I'm
out his
trying to
legs from
swing
there.
up here. Yeah,
Exactly. That's a little bit more difficult.
I forgot about flying too. Yeah, if they can fly, I lose the big
That's
duck
tough.
size horse.
Yeah,
I
but
lose that. I'm gonna fight for my life.
easily taking out the duck-sized horses. Easily, like not even close. What are they gonna do?
Yeah,
Go
no.
at my razor scooter? They gonna bust my shins up? Like what? They're going down.
Okay. A dozen duck-sized gorillas, silverbacks.
Again,
That's so different.
I still think I'm taking out at least 5 or 6 with the first swing. At least.
They're not lining up for you, Peyton. Like you act like
Yeah,
they're just they're just waiting there for you to hit them.
You said in a field, right, where I can move around, I am 100% faster than duck-sized gorillas. Easily.
So would you go back yourself up into a tree?
Yeah, it's like
And
COD
make 'em line
Zombies. Like
up
you
and come
back
get
up,
me?
get them all in line, take a couple out, run back, get them in line, take a couple more out, easily. See, you're giving me too many outs in this scenario.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's too easy.
a field makes it harder because if it's a field, like you said, it's so much space. I'm definitely lining myself up to where we're gonna, I'm gonna put my back against the wall, and you're gonna have to come to me, and
Yeah,
that's when
take
you
a couple
lose.
out at a time, move around, couple out, move around, couple out. You can whittle your way down at it.
Interesting. I've debated this question. I've talked about this question with other people, but you two are the first to really dissect it that far down into duck legs and playing it like you're playing COD Zombies and moving around. So, I mean, I see it
be
now.
creative with it.
And then with the bat, you're definitely injuring them with the first hit.
Exactly.
So it makes it a little easier if you give me a bat. Now, if you're saying like
you get some
like,
crawlers.
Yeah, if you're saying like a wooden stick or something, like it gets a little harder. But a bat, especially if it's metal, they lost. They're not beating me in anything. I'm fighting to my death. I don't know about anybody else, but they're not beating me.
I'm walking out of there with maybe a couple scratch marks on me, maybe.
You're also what did you're 6'4", you said?
No, I'm 6'2". They don't just messing around, but like
Yeah, I was
Like
about to
I'm
say you can still
100%
stumble.
fast. Anything
That's
duck-sized is not beating me unless
that's
it's
not what
like
your
a.
Tinder profile says, Peyton. Your Tinder profile says
But on Tinder, I'm
6'4",
6 foot.
280.
Shout out to Little Dicky. No, but I think anything duck-sized, I'm gonna take my chances unless it's like a snake or a spider or something venomous that bites me and then the venom eats away. But something with just straight up attacks that's not like doesn't have rhino horns or anything like that. Like I think that's an easy one. You got to bet on yourself there. I don't think it's difficult at all.
That's that's how you sum it up. If they don't have anything that's like a specialty, they can't beat me. No way.
So everyone
Okay.
coming on the future, you have to think about these things completely through. Be creative with it. It all depends on the scenario and the context. We in an open field, and I'm faster than whatever's coming at me. We're winning. Easy as
Easily.
that. With a bat, like Malik said, no chance.